This podcast is a production of Digital and Creative Media Works. To help support us, head to dcm.works to find links to our other show notes, Patreon, and merch. Hey guys, welcome back to the Outriders podcast, official podcast of Digital and Creative Media Works. My name is David, DCM, creative director, lead writer, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Ben.
Hi.
And this week's special guest, Laura.
Hello again.
Returning guest, friend of the show.
Two in a row?
No,
there was a gap.
there was a gap. We had a gap year, gap week.
A gap week.
We took some sabbatical and we
back
went
behind
away.
the couch.
And in that time, yeah, which is correct.
But obviously you're not getting rid of me that easily.
Yeah, we tried, but she knows
Tried,
where I
tried
live.
so hard.
And in the time that we've spent between then and now, we went and we saw the latest Marvel film. So this week we are talking about the world building of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, it's a good Thor film. What do you know? Good,
There,
good job,
I
David.
did the
There you
one.
Oh,
Okay.
come on.
It was a good Thor film, which is better than Thor 2, the bad Thor film, or Thor
Yeah,
1, the
that-
boring Thor one.
Yeah.
go.
Do you guys actually a little hot quiz? What was the plot of Thor 1? Any takers?
Bring me another one. That's
He
all I
like
remember.
ends up on Earth,
Yeah.
and he
meets
has
someone.
to get back, and he learns to use the hammer, I think.
Yep. What was the plot of Thor 2?
Oh, evil
Uh,
people and the city got destroyed.
MacGuffin. Doesn't the
He-
MacGuffin it's
Is
like
it
the
an
red
Infinity
stone
Stone?
thing.
He got to Earth. He got
Something
get his
happens
power
with
back.
like whatever the
it's probably
lady.
an Infinity
I
Stone.
don't remember
It's the
what her
same-
name
It's the
is.
same film, but there's elves.
What's
in it.
the plot of this film?
Well, as always, spoilers. If it's in the name of the title, we're going to spoil it in the episode. But the plot of this one I thought was refreshing, and the reason we're talking about world building is
Really?
that it's the first of the. Well, we'll get to that. It's not, but we'll get to the plot. The plot was lazy, but it's the first of the kind of Marvel outside of your Guardians that's been kind of taken over by James Gunn, who's in charge of the space shit. That's not what they officially called it in Marvel, but I assume
I
that's...
think it is.
Actually, they had a thing called the anus in this, so I feel like...
I think it is the space.
It might be called Space Shit. James Gunn is the director of Space
Space
Shit. And so he was involved in this one, and it was a very good one. I had a lot of fun with that. I don't know about you guys.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
enjoyed it.
definitely enjoyed it.
I think just
especially
the-
all the times that they used "Immigrant Song." That was when you knew shit was going down. That was
I think
really
just
good.
That's a good point.
it wasn't a departure from Marvel like stories, but it was like another. It was similar to how Guardians was a departure from
Yeah.
the Avengers.
Yes.
This was like another departure from the Avengers. In a similar vein, it was very yeah.
Quips! We got jokes all
Yeah,
the
very
time.
so
Guardians.
many jokes.
I will say, though, I thought that and we'll get to this in a bit, but I thought that the jokes in this were less like the fact that Tony Stark wasn't in it meant that a lot of the jokes weren't Tony being like, "It's me, a Tony Stark." Pew, pew, pew. Like it was like there was a bit more variety. I felt like.
right.
And you mentioned in the car that the Doctor Strange portion of this, we'll call it like
Oh, it
a
was
cameo
really
or
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
Really cool inclusion. I think the most important, the most significant part of that for world building is that we saw the extent of his powers now.
Yeah.
Leading up to
Yeah, well, I
Infinity
think-
War.
And especially the fact that he doesn't really give a shit what's going on outside of Earth. Like, he's just like, just get Loki off Earth. I don't care about anything else.
Well, his job is
Yeah.
literally to protect that.
Exactly.
I
Cathedral.
thought the first 20 minutes of this film was complete shit.
What was the first 20 minutes?
When he's not being a gladiator boy.
Yeah, that would seem like a little
It was just
unnecessary.
well, no, I
They
think
went
it's
away
necessary.
from Asgard and then they
I think
weren't.
it's necessary. It's just soup. They really,
I mean, they
they
needed the
rushed
stuff
it so hard.
with Odin.
They
and-
really flew through it as fast as they possibly could because they had to make way for the fun stuff.
They could have just started. I don't know. To
They
me,
could've
like
just
the,
started with Odin being
with
dead.
Odin, or even like the scene with them on the in where Norway.
But they
or
needed
wherever.
they
But
needed
they needed
some
to set up
reason
the,
for Odin to be dead because he's literally God.
and they also needed to set up
they-
the big climax.
But it just I wanted.
callback.
It just felt like
honestly,
what's
the
his name?
first
Felt like
fight
hard
with
work.
with
Beelzebub.
Thor, like
Oh, he was
with his
goofing
hammer,
on
that
them
was-
devil
that was-
boys,
that
wasn't
was
he?
good.
Oh yeah,
was
that
having-
was
that was a good fight.
that was
a good
basically the
action
opening
scene.
to Guardians 1.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
It felt like that whole sequence was Taika Waititi being like, to Iron Man 1 and being like, you can do a fun one if you want.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It's definitely a Phase 3 film. Like, my biggest concern about Black Panther is it's going to be a Phase 1 film. Phase 1 film meaning like it's just like an origin story with nothing happening.
Right.
This very much was like a Phase 3. We've seen Thor. We know what he can do. This is the evolution of the character. And we've had more stuff going on in this world than previous, especially with like the characters. Like we know Loki, we know what Loki can do, like we know what Odin can do, and then Crookie, what are you doing, buddy? Cat's trying to escape. Like, we know how these characters work in this world, and they've gone, hey, what if we take that and go on a fun road trip? I thought that was a really cool, interesting thing. The Hulk stuff, what did you guys think? You said something, though. That one, Ben.
Thought Mark Ruffalo was fucking hamming... Shut up, Crookie. Was, like, hamming the fuck out of this film. I thought him as Bruce Banner was atrocious, to be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. Like, there were... I felt like... It's either good acting or he was just tired.
I think it might have just been good acting.
Yeah, I mean...
I want to give him the
this
benefit
is
of the doubt.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, this is his last
I mean, you can kind of...
Marvel film, yeah?
That's what he has to do, but...
Yeah, because like they give him an out with this, with him
He can just
turning
be
into
Hulk
Hulk
always.
and being
Well, hopefully...
staying as the Hulk.
Yeah, but then
Hopefully
if he's the Hulk forever, then they're never gonna have the thing with like Black Widow.
Well,
I
no,
think-
they're trying to get away from
think they're
Black
trying to-
Widow as fast as possible.
Yeah, they're
Really?
like...
Because
people
so-
Joss Whedon had that really tone-deaf scene in his Avengers film, which was like... People just misinterpreted that one, but it was really tone-deaf of him to put the two ideas adjacent, where it was like, you know, I'm a monster, and then not being able to have kids. Like, she meant being an assassin, but it was just tone-deaf to put them next to each other.
The timing for a Black Widow film has gone and passed.
I wish they had
and people
gone
and
for
I think
it, 'cause-
if they keep her in the story and keep her a main character, people will keep clamoring for it, and the time is gone.
But also,
Like,
how do you keep her involved in a story with literal
Space
space
aliens.
gods? And
Yeah, that's the problem.
same with,
but
like, Hawkeye,
at the
like,
same
they-
time, I'm like, we need
Fucking
more
Hawkeye.
female superheroes with like
Yeah,
their
we
own
got-
films.
they're
we
getting
got Captain
replaced.
Marvel coming in. We got
Yeah.
fucking what's her name, the Scarlet Witch. She's real good.
We have nothing but
I mean, like, because
plenty of female side characters.
I think Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. might be dressing as a woman in the next one.
Well,
that
that's-
doesn't count.
That would be offensive.
Yeah, that would be. Also, seems like something he might just do in real life.
probably.
But-
Downey Jr. secretly a cross-dresser.
Well, not secretly
You heard it here
cross-dresser, but
first.
just like tried to ironically promote feminism and
really
really
got into
goofed
it.
on it. Really
Yeah.
goofed it up bad for everyone.
Oh,
no, so
I mean, men can still cross dress and it's funny, but
yeah, it's just he hasn't been funny in a long time. It's a lot of the writing that does it for him. But I like now that he's just become like Iron Man. Like he just dresses, he just rocks up in his own clothes on set, and they're like,
yeah.
I guess.
They're like, oh, you've been through costuming. He's like, yeah.
huh? He's like, sure, I came from my
Sure.
trailer, but if you say so. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that they got away from a lot of the traps that they've used in the past to, like, you know, stuff they know works as far as like character works. So they know that, you know, your Thor, who's like your crazy thunder god, with your Tony Stark and your Captain America. That's like a good mix because they kind of play with each other nicely. Then you've got your Hawkeye, you've got your Bruce Banner, and you've got your Romanov, and they have kind of a nice like little mix. And they were like, okay, let's just put. And I want to see this more and more. I want just like dumb buddy cop ideas with the different Avengers. I want like Thor and Hulk, which I thought, you know, it was fun.
That was a good one, yeah.
I want, you know, like a nomad Captain America and, you know, a Scarlet Witch film. Like I just want them to do dumb. You know, I want a fucking Peter Quill
now
and
that
a Robert
Scarlet
Downey
Witch is
Jr.
a thing.
film. You know,
That
I don't want that.
that makes me
Quicksilver.
think that like
No,
like
I don't want
Scarlet
that.
Witch could actually have a shot at having like a film like.
but it's like it would have to be a.
She'll be a Hulk in like a Captain
yeah,
America
the
film.
thing is, I don't
Yeah,
think
she
she'll have a
wouldn't have a solo
standalone
film.
film, but at least we have some more female superheroes
Yeah,
in
Valkyrie.
the
The Valkyrie
in
chick
the
was
Marvel
dope.
universe.
She was cool. I
The
thought
IMDb didn't give her a name, which was weird, but she was played by Tessa Thompson. There wasn't a name in the IMDb. It was just Valkyrie.
She was
name.
just-
Yeah.
she was like Scrapper.
I guess that I don't know. I didn't see what she was credited as in the movie.
I wasn't paying attention to the
I
credits.
wasn't paying attention either.
I checked my Twitter.
She was
as soon as
great
the film ended.
for a ton of reasons. But why don't you tell us? Because I was gonna explain to you. I was gonna mansplain to you why she's a
Mansplain?
good female character.
Oh god. I was just like, because she doesn't.
Just say agency. It's all right. Just quick say agency.
She's
Right.
just like a character. She's just like a person.
She just
Yeah.
like her motivation was okay. She used to like be fighting for Asgard, and she liked the monarchy and whatever the fuck, and then she got fucked over by Hera.
yeah.
Hela. Sorry.
'Cause she's hella strong, yo.
Pew.
Um,
Also, hella dope.
and like all of her Valkyrie friends died, and she's like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna drink on
Fuck this shit,
and
and
catch
I'm out."
people."
Right.
Um,
And the reason I think that is such an important like not I don't know. It's a lot of the time one of the lessons they teach you when you're like a young writer who has like all the arrogance of being a young writer is if you invert the gender of your character, is there still arcs and does it still make sense? Like what parts of your character are tied to the fact that they're a gender? So it's like a really good exercise to do. So if you write a female character, you make them a man, you're like
literally the only thing that tied her to a gender was the fact that she was a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
which like, and that was just that, but that really wasn't part of her character. She was just like an elite force. If a film 20 years ago, you would have a sort of similar gunslinger who might have been in the army and then had a similar thing and is now an alcoholic, or a pirate that's got the same thing.
If she was a male, it would have been some other army, but
it's a similar idea, right? I thought it was really clever to make her a woman and to have Asgard's greatest warriors be women, because then you have the sister come in and she's also incredibly strong. And to me, that speaks to this level.
The female characters in this film make me so happy.
Although, real talk though, Cate Blanchett, same character she fucking played in Power Rangers. I'ma say it.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I didn't see Power Rangers.
Very.
I don't watch garbage.
Well, it was.
Oh wait, I saw the Dark Tower.
But sorry, Idris, you were also in this film, and you were very good.
You were much better.
He was he was pretty good.
He was okay.
No, he was fine. I thought that
he was better in Dark Tower.
There was one of the biggest problems I have with this film, and the way that it kind of was trying to do a bit of the world building. And I want to preface this with, I get the number of people in Asgard that were left alive were not many, but they all were on that frigate ship.
Right.
Ain't many peeps left, yo. Like, it just felt. Yeah, they got to start incesting or something.
It's not
like
incest. There's enough of them.
There's
to
enough of them that they
crossbreed
don't
with
have
enough
to.
genetic.
I don't know
diversity.
much about genetics, but
No,
I do
you
know
don't.
this.
What do you know about genetics, David?
Can Asgard's fuck a human and make a baby?
Human people have been through like huge mass
you're right.
extinction
We had a point in
events.
time where there were like 4,000 humans left.
Also, like the Catholic Church.
That's why we're genetically fucked.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
like the
whatever.
royal family seems to be okay, so I guess it could be worse. No, it's interesting to me that was like a scale thing they decided on early, because they wanted this really cool sequence with the bridge, which like it was a really cool set piece. But I was just like the whole time I was like, there's definitely got to be more people in this city though, like
it was a very big city.
There was a bunch of folks that weren't in that cave; they were just in the city, and they left them behind to die, I guess. Because Cate Blanchett, when she was going to execute that guy.
Girl.
With the girl, guy is gender neutral in this context. She was going to execute that guy or girl, if that makes you feel better.
Well, technically,
I'm talking about
the
when she brings
executioner
out-
was going to execute that
Yeah, when she
girl.
brings out the girl from the crowd. And then
It's a woman.
Gonna do it. I don't remember.
Wasn't it?
It's just a character, dude. I don't pay not a lot of attention to what's going on. Everyone is like a dude or a guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't see gender, Ben. I'm gender blind. I'm like a colorblind person where it's like RGB colorblind.
Right.
No, but so Cate Blanchett's character, Hela, she drags him out, and there's a whole bunch of mess. There's a mess of people there.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I guess they all died horribly.
Don't know.
Also, what about the people that didn't go into the
burned.
square? And also, how does the city?
There's a lot of.
How does the city support itself with like 300 people?
I think that my general
Magic?
opinion of like the two concurrent storylines was that I didn't give a fuck about Asgard.
Yeah, I didn't
At
care either.
all. I did not care.
I wanted more fun, rollicking cowboy adventures.
Yeah, I wanted more of that, which was
I wanted more
okay, and then it
quips.
ended.
It was fine, and then it was over.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, because I've never been a fan of Marvel films doing the city destruction trope, and I mean, this was,
Well, we kind of
you
needed
could
it.
argue it's different because it's
for-
Asgard, but they literally just blew it up. Like it's.
I mean, Space
It's-
City's
I
still a
mean,
city.
for the character
still
of
a
Hela,
city
they
destruction
kind of
climax.
needed some of that stuff where it was like, because they built her up and they built her up and they built her up. They're like, she's really bloody powerful. She's more
Yeah.
powerful than Odin, and you can't defeat her.
I did like her death. She just like turned into a puff of green smoke.
little splash of green. There.
She just little splash of green. She just got hit by the
Speaking-
sword and just disintegrated.
Speaking of that, how do we feel about the ending?
I think it was
Okay,
fine.
here's what I'll say, and this is to rebuff your point earlier about the cities, because I think you're No, I was right the first time. Unequivocally wrong about the city thing.
Oh, okay. Sure thing,
Because let me mansplain at you. No, I think the reason that works is in all the other Marvel films, and even in your DC films, in your typical superhero film, the city is destroyed as collateral. It's like you're fighting the bad guy, they're trying to destroy the city, and there's
But I mean, in this one, it
that.
was the good guys that destroyed the city.
So
though.
in this context, Hela is
Right.
she needs the city to survive, and what they do is they sacrifice the city in order to have their victory,
They
which
still
it's
blow up a city.
yeah. There's a big red devil boy.
There's still a big old explosion in the sky.
What happened to the
They
devil
still-
boy? Is he dead now?
I
'Cause
don't know.
Blew it up.
He's just like
oh,
floating in
Is he
didn't
in
space.
space?
He said at the beginning of the film that he would leave the Earth or whatever. He would go away once he'd finished his purpose, which was to destroy Asgard.
And then he pissed off.
Yeah.
He retired. He's having
He was like, I cannot be killed until I complete
so then-
my purpose.
So that's how he has to die. I get. That's a tough way to live, though. To know that the only way to die is that you have to blow up
well,
the
he
city.
seemed very okay with
He
it.
seemed very much on board.
I mean, after a few thousand years, you kind of get on board with the idea. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, I could rest. Like, I'll kill a few thousand people. But no, I just thought it was like an interesting. Well, interesting is wrong. I just thought it was nice that it was different to what typically would have happened, which is, Thor is fighting his baddie in the city, and there's destruction, and they're destroying
Yeah.
things as a result of the fighting. It was like, no. This is about the people, and it followed the motif of Asgard
Yeah.
is the people, not the place,
Yeah.
which is like cute, but it's also mostly the place because it's fucking magic and can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But they still have the sword, so maybe they can recreate some of that
yeah,
magic.
Yeah,
Well, the sword is what
exactly.
lets them make
That's
the
what
gate.
make the gates
Yeah,
work.
And
so,
Heimdall's
like-
the boy, so.
Yeah, it's
Also,
fine.
what's the deal with Heimdall being able to tell telepathy with both the Thor boys?
I don't know.
With
He's
Thor and
magic.
Loki.
I don't know. We don't know what their rules
They
are.
can
They're,
see-
they're literally
What,
gods.
The eyesights.
Yeah. Is he just the all-seeing type of guy?
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Because that was a cool device.
I mean, they can literally go, Heimdall, can you beam us up,
I guess
please?
maybe there's
That
like
was
a...
always in the fourth film.
Yeah,
fourth film.
that's in all the thought. Is he just like a telepath? Maybe everyone knows
He
that
just
except
has
us.
Special eyes.
Maybe it's something to do with the sword, because they can still what's his
But
bloody
the other
name?
guy had a
the other
blinker
guy.
when he Scourge had a blinky thing. on
Yeah,
the
but then he
console.
yeah, maybe he did. They could hear
Is
it from
Heimdall
the.
a god?
Wait, who's Scourge again?
Scourge was the bad boy that was bad and was the
And
executioner.
then had
he
the
was
redemption thing.
had those sweet fucking guns that
Oh,
he did.
man.
He didn't have vision with Thor.
No,
just
he
had
didn't.
the
No.
communicator
So maybe it's just
tower.
Idris Elba's character
it's
that
just
has
Idris
that.
Elba,
Maybe
yeah.
he's a god
He's-
boy.
Maybe.
Oh, he is. He's the guardian.
I mean, they're all fucking
of
gods, aren't they?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
If you had, what god would you be of? What would your god? What
hammers.
hammers? Your,
God of hammers.
Yeah, that was a great joke.
was a
Either,
great line,
yeah,
yeah.
that was good. Wasn't a joke. Actually,
You're
I
not the god of hammers, you're the god of
yeah,
thunder.
I gotta fucking say, Anthony Hopkins
Oh,
as
he's so
Odin
good.
is so good.
He's so good. As
I
Odin.
can't believe they killed him. He's one of
I
the
know.
best. Could you
Oh,
imagine like
man.
at
Has he always
every?
been Odin?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
I've never noticed it. This is the only time I've noticed
I'm not
it.
100%
He hasn't had
on
a
that.
big
I
part
don't-
in the other movies.
Maybe he has.
I think this is.
We
the
would have
first time
noticed.
he's been.
Maybe it's because maybe it's post Westworld vibes where everyone's just aware of him again.
Yeah,
but
possibly.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you or look it up
Yeah.
right now on the computer that's next to me. But I think the reason I loved him so much in this is he's the kind of distant father figure that isn't overwrought in the same way that a lot of they try and do in the other Marvel films where they're like Tony Stark's father never hugged him or
Yeah,
whatever.
actually,
Yeah.
just on that,
Thor 1 was 2011.
on that, what they did with the character of
Yeah, it's
Odin
always been
was they
fucking-
did the thing again where they're like, oh, your father figure wasn't who you thought that they were, and they were actually they did some
He
evil
was a
stuff,
baddie.
but they didn't focus on it either.
Well, I think that's because for Odin's character, that reveal has happened twice already. So I like the idea of if you did it once, then did it again.
Loki and Thor just seem to kind of accept it. They're like, yep, this happened.
Right, because the first Thor film you find out he's been lying, the second Thor film you find out he's been lying, and it's a nice way to be like, this is a guy who literally covers up all his problems and just tries to not deal with them ever.
Right.
And that has come back and has had its many fallouts. And what you've got the two opposites, right? You've got Thor who tries to deal with everything head on and ruins it, and then Loki who is so good at kind of getting his way out of anything that nothing ever has consequence for him. So you've got these two kind of parallel, different ends of the polarized spectrum, and then Odin in the middle, who's just the dog who kind of covers everything up and doesn't really want to deal with anything. But in his younger days was sort of like Thor, he was this aggressive kind of god of
Crusader.
crusade. Yeah, wanted to like, bathe in the blood of his enemies kind of thing. Because Thor was a bit like that in the start of the first Thor film, where he was like, I'm the god of thunder, bitch! And then, he's going around, he's smashing stuff. Also, this film had a fuckload of swearing in it for a Marvel film. Like, compared to everything else, they said shit and fuck a lot.
They said anus a few times as well.
Anus came up.
Well, that was a joke.
Bitch was said a ton. This is one of those ones where I maybe wouldn't
true,
take
true.
a kid to this one.
Yeah,
There were a
there
lot
was
of
like a
kids at the
12-year-old in
film.
front of us, and I was like,
What
ooh.
was it rated in
I think it was
Australia?
MA 15 plus. I don't
It
know.
had to be MA.
MA, I don't know.
It was teetering that
It was a whole
that
messagist.
Deadpool.
It was a bit on the Deadpool side, but I think they know at this point that the audience that is watching this is literally like it's just millennials.
It's
like
just us.
kids are like superhero films are dumb. We like
Kids are like, we like the Emoji Movie.
we like Bumble, the iPhone app. Films are dumb. I don't know what kids are like, but it's definitely like they know their target market. They know this is for people that like have seen the other films. They know this is for people.
I mean,
who
they've
know
been
it
building
matters.
it up and like making
There's-
this big like series thing.
Yeah.
For
You
a
know, there's so
while,
many
so,
cross-
like they know what they're
Yeah,
about.
when did the first Avengers come out?
First Avengers
2012?
11.
So there's like a 6-year callback in this film.
Yeah.
Like it's bonkers how, and everyone got the joke.
It-
Like
Right.
it's crazy how
There's so
how
many
much
of those.
how hard they're able to like back reference, even like and like.
Well, I
forward
mean, that was a
reference as
moment
well.
that everybody really liked.
Well, like
Because,
if
if you're gonna call back to something in the first Avengers
yeah.
film,
I mean,
You're
when
gonna
you
call
start
back to
flinging it
that.
around, everyone was thinking, "Oh, this is like when he was flinging Loki," and then Loki reacts. You're like, "Cool." It's that like
Yeah.
negative, it's that weird negative space thing where you're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's a reference," and then the
Right.
film acknowledges the reference.
yeah, the thing
for
is, like, if they called
like,
back
"Do you want a
to
reference?"
anything else
Yeah.
in that film, then it would have been like, eh.
'Cause that was iconic.
Well,
that-
yeah,
that fucking part
you know
of that film.
there's been like a bajillion gifts of that, but the thing I liked is they had these characters, and we talked about this a bit before in the show when we talked about the way that certain seasons of TV have this really troubling problem of to accelerate a plot, they'll have characters react in like ways that don't make sense for that character.
Yeah.
This film did a good job of being like, this is how these people would probably react, with the exception of Banner, who had been not
Yeah, fuck this film.
what? Do you want me to turn you around on that one?
Fuck Banner in this film.
Fuck Banner. No, but
He's-
the reason he's like
Hulk
that,
is
right?
good. Banner is just.
Well, he's been like, you're supposed to want him to be Hulk, right? They're trying to transition, but the thing is, if he's been Thor for 2 years, if he's been Hulk for 2 years, like you would come out of that pretty fucking shell shocked. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I've been in a coma for 2
I mean,
years.
I bought that.
What about Ultron? Like that's the right thing to do. And then you would be
Yeah.
like, I'm on a fucking alien planet. What the fuck is happening? What's going on? Who is this? What? Huh?
The scene where he was transforming back into Banner, I found was really interesting, where he's like changing sides.
Yeah, they've talked about this
Yeah, that was
before,
weird.
which James Gunn has kind of touched on this a bit. Which is that it's James Gunn and the guy who runs Marvel, whose name I can never remember.
Stan Lee.
Nope, the guy who runs the Marvel films.
Oh.
One of the things that they're doing with Hulk is the next 3 films he's in, he's going on this arc. We don't really know what the arc is yet, but I'm assuming it's to do with that, where it's like
Grey Hulk.
I'm
Grey Hulk.
fucking fingers
Grey
crossed
Hulk.
it's Grey Hulk. And where they go from like Hulk is just like this wrecking ball to being like an actual character, which they've started to do, and I kind of like that.
I mean, he has some dialogue in this film, so that's
Yeah.
As
different.
Hulk.
He
yeah.
was quite fun, I thought.
He was fun as Hulk. Yeah, I really liked Hulk in this.
I think their biggest mistake was that when he turned back to Banner, it should have been like quit for us to be like, yeah, Banner's fun, and then he can freak out and stuff. But I think they lingered a bit too long on him being super shell shocked, which like is fine. And then you get at the end, he goes, I'm gonna be Hulk, and then he jumps out, and that's very fun when he just hits the
Just slams on the ground.
He's like,
well, that's
okay.
representative of Banner dying
yeah, and then
because he literally looks like he's dead.
Hulk Boy comes
And
out.
then Hulk Boy comes out. You're like, well, there goes Banner.
There goes Banner.
Yeah,
I think
no more
it's,
Banner.
it's and they're probably gonna do Lady Hulk as well, She-Hulk. But it was one of those weird ones where there were so many triplets in this film that it got to the point where I was like, they did that in the first act, they did that in the second act. Here comes numero 3, and then they
Yeah.
do it, and it would be funny every time. And because you mentioned the comedy triplets, but they also did like they did a 3-act story, which is like a pretty standard act, but it was like it's a classic like kingdom story from like the Bible, basically, where it's like you lose the kingdom, you rally the army as like a revolutionary force, and then you burn down the established
Right.
that you left behind
Yeah.
to then build upon something new somewhere
You're
else.
right, actually.
It's literally what Moses does.
Yeah.
And
Shout
there's
out to Moses.
shout out Moses, and that there's obvious there's a lot of like super obvious intentional religious imagery with like the way that some of the battles mirror murals and stuff because they're gods, and
Just
that's like
that shot of the Valkyries and the
I
like
wish
the
they did
backlit,
more of that. I wish
the
they
one from
did
the
that-
trailer, that was
I
just
wish they
beautiful.
did
I was
that
like, that's
for
so
the,
lovely.
I wish they did that for the backstory with Hela and Odin.
Oh, that
I
would
wish
have
they
been
did that imagery
sweet.
for that because they did the dumb like
They did the mural.
they did
thingy.
the
Yeah.
dumb like medieval mural despite it being
why didn't-
Norse
why
mythology.
didn't they just do the kind of cool?
Like, why
Yeah.
is it like
Why are they
Middle
Jesus boy?
Ages like style artwork when it's Norse mythology?
Weird.
What?
I think
so weird.
I think the idea is that all religion is based on aliens in Marvel world. Maybe?
Who knows?
I was
Um,
just triggered by the art style that they had in those murals on the ceiling. I was
Yeah.
just like,
It
wrong
was
time period.
It was also just
guys.
like you had a great opportunity. Well, maybe they didn't have the money for it, but
They just done a Google search.
there's a shot toward the end of the film that is like just phenomenal, where you've got these undead creatures kind of clambering over each other to get to Thor, who's flying towards them
That was
Oh,
with the rainbow
yeah.
bridge
Yeah.
beneath them and like the expanse of the
Oh,
cosmos
that was
behind them.
sweet.
And I had one of those moments where I was like,
They're
truly,
getting really good at
truly
framing
that's
things.
but like the reason it's good, and I hope every other fucking filmmaker, especially you, whoever's making Jurassic World 2, just like any film with CG in it that's like CG heavy, the reason this film works so well is the CG they did had like this real style, like it had a
Yeah.
voice. This
Right.
is like this kind of heavenly, robustly religious visualization to these crazy battle sequences, and it works because it's got that voice, it's got that style. I think it stands out from a lot of the other CG we've seen in the more recent Marvel films, where save maybe Doctor Strange because that had its own kind of aesthetic. I think a lot of
Yeah.
them are just big shit hitting other big shit, whereas this was like they clearly went out of their way to actually like direct something interesting.
It's actually so they did another one of those at like the start of the film where he's flying away from the dragon and it cuts to like a portrait shot.
Oh, and it's
just
getting
like
closer
the
and closer
horizon.
and
and
closer.
Oh
it's just
yeah,
behind-
that
It's-
was a
what it
really
is,
nice
is
shot.
they made a bunch of heavy metal covers and then just put them in the film. That's all they are. The
You're not
Valkyrie scene is
wrong.
a heavy metal cover. The opening scene is a heavy metal cover.
That's a good point.
Where he's like flying he's like shrouded with lightning
yeah,
and
yeah.
flying onto the bridge, and there's like the zombies. It's a heavy metal
Just
cover.
like
They're all
any
just heavy metal
shot,
covers.
like any like wide shot with
Yeah, all
thunder.
the wide shots are
and-
just they're just heavy metal
good.
covers.
Honestly, absolutely, and I fucking dig it.
Mm.
That is
That's
so
100%
what it is.
It's just a
I
big
didn't even
heavy
think
metal
about that.
cover.
That's the best thing ever. And I don't know, the reason that I want to talk about world building, which I think we've kind of put that little in a little
Thor
circle,
Ragnarok is my
Boop.
favorite heavy metal.
put it
album.
in that one.
Hmm.
But I gotta say, I just like that this is like the start of the crazy bullshit insane space stuff we're gonna start to see.
Oh yeah.
This is the start of like, Star-Lord and Doctor Strange going on a whirlwind space adventure.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
the kind
I'm
of thing where it's
keen.
like if they go forward with this crazy shit, there's like three different styles we have of that. We have the Doctor Strange kind of esoteric stuff, which
Yep.
we'll probably see more of, and like the interesting editing that we've seen from him in this film.
So interesting.
The really cool editing.
From someone else's perspective, yeah.
We have like Guardians, which is just kind of new Marvel, I guess, is really the best way to put
Well,
it.
I would call that definitive like space Marvel.
Yeah, and now we have heavy metal covers.
Oh, it's very good, isn't
and
it?
I want give me the heavy metal
Oh,
covers. I want
give me-
that one. Like, I
give
don't
me-
care about the other two. Give me I want this. Like I want more of this.
This is why I'm excited for Avengers Infinity War. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the leaked trailer that's like filmed from someone's phone at like this
oh
height.
fuck.
Like that.
No.
There's like
I'm
film
waiting
coming
for it to actually come out.
the stuff in that is like buck wild. And there's a scene in that which I won't spoil because it's like the trailer isn't out, but there's a scene in that which
yeah.
marries the worlds together in a way that we haven't seen before. And the stuff that it's gonna be crazy. Like you're gonna have a Spider-Man, you're gonna have a Guardians of the Galaxy, you're gonna have a Thor, you're gonna have like all these crazy ideas, and also Doctor Strange together fighting one
I think
real
yeah,
bad boy instead of
think-
1,000 tiny robot.
I think the
made
reason
of
why I'm
tinfoil.
starting to somewhat enjoy Marvel films again is because they're actually wrapping up. Like, we're getting closer and closer to, like, what,
Right.
Infinity War's next year?
Right.
Yeah, and presumably that's where we'll see Captain America die.
Yeah,
then
and,
new
like,
fa-
it's
new
nearly
generation.
over. The fucking nightmare
You know
that is
what?
Marvel films
You're so
is
right.
nearly over.
It's nearly done.
and it's
Mind you,
climaxing, and
I've
it's
had
getting
I've had
insane.
a good
Yeah.
time in some of these films.
It's
but,
who
like,
knows, maybe
it
DC
is
will take over,
exhausting.
but-
I'll give you that
yeah,
much.
it's like anything. It's great for most of it, but it's still hard work sometimes.
Yeah.
Like every now and then I'm like, boy, I just could go for not that. You know what I mean? It's these are great.
I've been
but-
really excited for this film, and then like today I was like, I gotta see Ragnarok tonight, and I was like, yeah, I'm keen, but like
oh boy,
they were gonna talk about it. It's like
they got a quip on it.
It's this thing where it's like, yeah, it's. I mean, and it was good. Like, I'm glad I saw it because I.
So,
I
so
think
boys, how do you feel about going to see the Justice League film?
the trailer actually made it look okay.
It looks fine. It's
Yeah.
gonna be different from Marvel.
Mind you, all I want is
just want more
is
Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman. I just
Yeah.
Wonder
Joss-
Woman is the best.
Joss Whedon's changed it a whole lot.
Yeah, apparently he's fucked with it.
Well, it looked very not good before. So hopefully he's done something with it.
I want
Apparently
me
there's
some
still a
Wonder
few
Woman.
Schneiderisms in it,
As long as there's some like pornographic hero shots, it'll look like a Schneider film.
Just
I'll be down
give
for
me all of the Wonder Woman, and I will go home
but
happy.
I think that they seem to be tweaking their formula to be less like Batman plus friends and more Batman, Wonder Woman, and friends.
Yeah,
So
Batman.
It looks like it.
Maybe we'll get the Batman.
Oh
Wonder Woman.
yes, get me in that romance.
Yeah, get that.
Oh,
romance
it's the
going.
best part of the comic books because she
Yeah,
can just
absolutely.
crush him with a finger. Makes for a great relationship. Also, but on that note, though, I think that's maybe a good place to end on is this idea of these films do feel like, and this is maybe a symptom of like Spider-Man: Homecoming was like good, but it was definitely like a Phase 2 film. Like it kind of wasn't really like the place it needed to be, and then this was definitely like a Phase 3 film. But
Right.
I just want more of what this was, which was a Marvel film, but with like a different genre on it. Like this was like kind of like a road trip Kingdom Fallen film. Like I want to see
Yeah.
more of like, you know, a space western with various Marvel characters. I
Wow.
want to see like like I just want them to try and kind
Give
of
us a noir.
give me like
Give
a
us, like, a
yeah,
mystery.
give me like
Give us
a
a Batman.
give me a Black Widow spy story.
Yeah.
Give me like I just want them to do something different. And it looks like finally with something like Black Panther, which is like futurism,
Oh, Black
they're doing
Panther
something
looks
with
Sort of
it.
like more similar to
bonkers.
what they do in the comics. Do you reckon? Like, because
Yes.
they switch up art style a lot from
Yeah.
comic to comic.
Absolutely. And even like you have different runs of different characters. You've got like Batman Detective Comics, which are like much
Right.
slower and less action packed. And like I feel like
So
that's
you want that in film format?
Well, I think we've got through the initial kind of mud of superhero films, and now what you can do is make a genre film that happens to have superheroes in it.
Yeah.
And you see
Right.
that with New Mutants, where it's a horror. It looks not great, but it's a horror film with X-Men in it.
Yeah,
Which is
like
like a
Homecoming.
refreshing
Homecoming
thing.
was High School Musical. But
Yeah,
with
which
Spider-Man.
I really
and it was really
liked
good.
a lot. It was very delightful. If honestly,
it was
if
quite fun.
if every superhero film was set in a high school, I'd be fine with it. Put Bruce. You know what?
Maybe
I don't.
Bruce?
I love high school dramas. They're my fucking jam. But like, I just want more. Like Riverdale. It's different from the comics, but it very much like has that tone to it, where it's like we just did like a detective story that happens to be based on comic book characters, and I just kind of want more of that because I think there's a real opportunity and an accessibility to take these great source materials and do something like actually interesting and different with them. And I don't know. I feel like Thor is a step in the right direction for that. But it's not quite the full stride that we need to kind of launch us into Infinity War with my resolve intact that it will be great.
Is there any film between this and Infinity? Oh, Black Panther
Yeah, Black Panther and then
That-
it's Infinity War.
will be.
But Black Panther's
going
gonna
to
be its own
Yeah,
thing.
Mind you, I'm still keen for Black Panther because
I think it looks like
it
it
looks
like
fun.
what like Moana did.
Plus,
where it
I'm
looks
like
very
super
authentic
happy
to
for
its
like
kind of.
just
It's,
the fact that
yeah, it
they've
looks like
got
Luke Cage. Yeah.
pretty much a full black cast.
Yeah, I'm
and
tired of
just,
looking
like,
at white people. Like,
I'm
seriously.
sick of the whiteys.
Also,
Whiteys.
fuck, they got Michael B. Jordan as the villain, and I've never been fucking
and it looked
happier.
like they had like
so good.
some female like black women just
God.
like fighting it up
Stomping
like
shit
hell
up.
yes.
Also, they put Run the Jewels in the fucking trailer. And
Oh, yeah.
that gets me randy as hell because that is a great fucking band right now.
Also-
They've always been a fucking great band, but man, it's a good one.
Low-key Thor Ragnarok, best Kiwi character in
Oh,
film.
that's
ever.
a good place to end on.
Fucking
Actually.
yes.
So-
Oh,
Yeah, that was the director.
Taika
If-
Waititi.
Yeah, if you didn't
I don't
realize that what's his name, Koru.
yeah.
Ko-
I don't
whatever
know
his
what
name
the
is.
rest of the world would have thought of it, but here in Australia,
Oh,
we're like,
funny as
yes.
shit.
So good.
So many of these jokes were just Australian centric.
yeah,
We're
like
just
the,
like, this is
uh,
the best shit.
Like
It's
when
a
she's just
Kiwi.
like,
It's
I want
hilarious.
10 million for it, and the Grandmaster's right hand lady is just like, tell her she's dreaming.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you're like, what?
They were like, that's a good reference.
Oh, it's so good.
It,
That's what I wanted. Just those two cultural references. I
very
just thought
good.
were really
No,
good.
I just thought it was delightful that we got a bit of humor that we can relate to for once. It's not all like
yeah,
New
instead of
York
Captain
humor,
Boomerang,
fucking
yeah.
whatever. Like, there's just like, it was funny.
Right.
For
Space
us,
Australians.
which is great. And
Yeah.
Space Kiwis.
And it was like partially filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
Just a
I
little
just-
bit.
Oh yeah, the bit that looks like New York. That was Brisbane.
Yeah.
That was down the road.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
5Ks.
Yeah.
There were
10K.
lots of screaming girls, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could tell it's Brisbane. So if you haven't
God,
seen
here we
the
go.
film, when they're in New York or when they're in a city, when they go to Earth for the first time, Loki looks like a witch. You'll see you'll see a very colorful power box in the background.
Those
That's
things
that's
are
a
all
Brisbane
over
thing.
Brisbane.
So
They're like everywhere.
we paint our power transformers.
weird.
And
yeah,
that's
people
what gives
just
it away for
fucking
Big
put
Brisbane.
artwork on them. I don't know why.
The
Well,
council,
it's
the council just
council
pays
funded.
people.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get artists work. We've
And it
kind
makes
of
them less ugly.
we've now run down the tangent. Of
We have.
just
Let's
Yes.
just.
we're not going to do recommendations because it's late. But I will say,
Thor Ragnarok.
no, well, you always do that. You can't do the thing that we talked about. That's like basically cheating.
I always do it because the only
Um,
things I do is stuff we do
I
for this
know
show.
because you don't got
I
much.
don't have a
going on,
life.
buddy. I've been peeping Riverdale season 2, which has been fine. It's not as good as season
I've
1.
been peeping my uni assignments.
Yeah.
I've been working.
What
Woo!
else? I've been doing Shadow of War a bit, but it's just fine. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
alright. That's about it for recommendations. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say this week. I was gonna say before we do the where can people find us bit where you end the show. The Patreon t-shirt designs go up on
pretty
Sunday, so the day
good.
after you watch this and 2 days after you hear this, and they're pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them.
Good.
And so if you're an $8 plus patron by the end of October, you get one of those shirts. We do the mail outs once a year. You can pick one of the two, and then they're gone forever. So make sure that you check the Patreon. The link to the images, if you just go to patreon.com/DCMworks, the post with the different designs will be public, but the post that I post after that with the details will be just for the Patreon, so they can get that sorted out. So make sure that if you want to get one of those, you have to be a Patreon by the end of October, and you have to be donating more than $8, and they're free. So you get it for free, just donate $8. It's not.
So it costs $8.
It's an $8 shirt. It's a $24 shirt you get for $8. It's a pretty good discount, if you ask me, and you didn't. But as always, Ben, do the thing. Where can people find us?
Facebook,
DCM Works Social.
Twitter,
DCM _@DCM_works.
YouTube.
YouTube.com/DCMworks. If you're not already watching these in video, highly recommend it. I've been doing a bunch more editing, so there's some context stuff happening. It's go check them out if you want. And a bit of an explanation. We didn't really touch on it, but the episode we had on Blade Runner 2049 got pulled. We got hit by like a community guideline strike.
Apocalypse.
No, it wasn't that. It was a community guideline strike.
What for?
Apocalypse.
That's worse than that. No, it's not that.
That is it.
No, it's not.
What do we get pulled on
stri-
guidelines
Community
for?
guideline strike is that it gets completely pulled down for like inappropriate
fun.
community content, and you get a strike
Say
against
the
your
C
account.
word too
I'm
many
pretty
times?
sure the content on that was fine.
Yeah, it was just the reason it got dinged.
Google.
The email that I got from YouTube was that we had 2 videos at the same time, 2 weeks apart, that had the Blade Runner in the title. Because we did the Blade Runner the previous week,
But-
so it's stupid. Fucking dumb.
YouTube.
But they fixed it. They
different
fixed.
films.
They fixed it pretty quickly, but
Patreon.
it's just frustrating. Patreon.com/DCMworks. And
That's it.
That's it. Oh, redbubble.com/people/DCMworks.
Whatever.
We've got 2 new.
That's not it, apparently.
That's not it, apparently. I mean, you kind of. I was like I was ramping up to it. I was ready. We got 2 new pillows up. You can get the antagonist pillow, the Art for Artist pillow,
Well, this one.
or the DCMworks pillow. I do fucking like.
It
the
is a
DCMworks
really
pillow.
nice pink
It's
color.
turned out
It's
nice.
Very nice salmon color.
So you can grab that one if you want. But as always, I'm at DC on my hip pie.
I'm at Literal Citrus.
I'm at Laura Ducky B.
We'll see you guys next time.
There was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
Makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There is a big lesson here to learn about storytelling.